Okay, guys. So I'm just sitting here playing Hades, kind of getting some work done, post-stream work done, and whatnot. And of course, this interesting video comes across my For You page, or whatever the kids call it. I don't even know. My YouTube recommended page. What? TikTok boomer, am I right? And it is an Acheeto video. And apparently Acheeto chatted with Jalen. Jadyn? I don't know. Whatever. Sorry, I'm just messing around with my stuff. Anyway, definitely curious, and I was like, oh, I'll talk about it on stream tomorrow, but to be honest with you, started listening to it a little bit. I was like, wow, this is pretty bad. So I didn't get too far into it, but I figured, hey, let's just record it offline. And let's just see what we got here. Let's go.
Right, but you don't. But again, you don't know that. You can
crazy.
make a guess. That's the entire point. You're guessing. You're guessing they don't like you. You're guessing they're trying to f you over.
A good guess,
when
right?
it doesn't hurt to just ask. Wait, hold on. I got to do a full stop right there. So telling someone to find God comes from a place of hatred, but calling someone the hard R doesn't.
I mean, I suppose it depends on the context that you tell somebody to find God in, but I don't think that even in the worst context possible, I don't think it compares to the proest of gamer words, to put it lightly. So, just saying.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't have like friends like I can just drop. Like when I'm friends with someone, I'm friends with them until they do some like extremely dub shit.
That's bad.
Like,
That's really bad.
That kind of depends, I guess, on what you say is extremely messed up stuff. I mean, like, nothing wrong with having some friend loyalty, as long as you hold your friends accountable. But I mean, I guess that's going to depend on how you were interpreting some of those words there. Like, yeah, I tend to, like, if I make a friend, I tend to be generally more loyal. But I think they're talking about that in the context of a natty person, but we'll see that as it goes on.
Hold on, do you not understand how that's really bad? That's just not true. Like, you don't know that because you're making an assumption of their intent, which you can't see through the video. What are your thoughts on black people?
Whoa, that's a tough one. All right. What are your thoughts on the game Hades? The best game ever. Wow. That is loud as Jesus Christ. Okay. What an epic
Ladies and
intro,
gentlemen, boys and girls, today I am here for the collaboration slash
what if I'm non-binary, sir?
debate that I think you have all been waiting for months at this point. I am in a Discord
I've been waiting for it, but certainly curious, I'll say.
call with my arch nemesis, my YouTube rival.
Arch nemesis.
I'm here with Jalen, what do you want to be called?
J Dingus.
So like my referred name is transgender Hitler.
Okay, so you see,
This is when I was like, I'm gonna start doing. Listen, we're all jokesters. We're all memesters here. I understand, and I will say it's funny from a shock humor perspective because I'm like, wow, why would you say that? But given the context of the situation, why would you say that? I mean, you're under some fire for being too edgy and having too much going on, and I lost already. And while maybe you wouldn't be able to expect, listen, if you're going in and saying like, I don't think I'm going to get too much honesty out of Acheeto, that's fine. Like, that's fine if that's how you feel. But, keep in mind, you're talking to everybody. I mean, I imagine you had to have known this was going to be recorded. So, I mean, you got to learn when to turn it off. You just do. And this was certainly the time to turn it off, Certainly was the time to turn it off.
that's not really a good start. Do you want to like explain to me what you mean when you say you want to be called transgender Hitler? Because I don't know what to take away from that.
I mean, like I just kind of I really appreciate like some of the things that he did, like his art. I think he made very good paintings.
Okay,
Well, I guess not. Cause
all right. Okay. This is a teachable moment. Okay. So a lot of people would probably say that considering your history when it comes to religious comments and things that you've said, that even ironically claiming that you're a transgender Hitler is probably detrimental to your character. So I'm going to do what's called a teachable moment, right? So would you say that you understand what I'm saying right now? Like, do you understand like why maybe saying that you're transgender Hitler, like that's not going to like land well on some people?
I mean, the thing is, right? All right. I'm
Let's be honest here, man. you know, I don't think it lands well on anybody. I'm not trying to be rude. We're at like a point now where it's like impossible. It's impossible. I feel genuinely bad for Jadyn. But after everything that's been going on, it's impossible for people to feel like too much sympathy for you because he just won't stop. He just won't stop. And you keep going. And I understand it's probably really frustrating to have like a bunch of commentary content creators take you at your worst intentionality on everything that you do. And I get that. You know, you've effectively hit that lolcow status. But I mean, what are you doing? You know, sometimes you got to take a deep breath and just come into the conversation as mature as possible. This was probably your best opportunity to like appeal to an audience. So at the very least, I think you're human. Be like, okay, you know what? Maybe this would be your opportunity to be like, yeah, you know what? They made some jokes in private with their friends that were probably inappropriate because a lot of that is some of this is that, and that's if I'm being charitable about my interpretation of it. But let's see how they are in like real life, and it's not great here. You know, now everybody just kind of thinks that when it's just going down, you don't take anything seriously. It's not good.
I'm owning some of my past mistakes. I'm making kind of a joke out of it because
okay.
I mean, what more can you do? You know,
actually,
obviously,
can I give a suggestion? Because you said what more you can do. I would say, right now, for the record, for the public record, you can disavow Hitler. You can say Hitler was an awful person, and I want nothing to do with his ideology or him at all. You can say that.
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay.
I mean, the guy did some horrible.
We're getting there. We're so close.
Things like, I mean, honestly, I sort of misspoke earlier, and I apologize for that.
Can I be honest?
Like,
when you said I misspoke earlier, you kind of stopped at miss, and I thought you were going to say, I kind of miss Hitler. And I'm glad you didn't say that because a part of me kind of was like, am I going to have to hang up this call right now because of TOS? But I'm glad you didn't say that. So, you know, this is a good start.
Yeah. So I misspoke earlier because, I mean, he did a lot of bad things, and like there's a reason why he was kicked out of art school because, I mean, honestly, his art's kind of bad. It's just mid.
Okay.
It's just like bad. And then of course,
Jadyn,
you know, the whole like Holocaust thing, that was also really awful.
Right. Okay, you know, this is good. I'm glad that we're starting with this basis.
What a conversation, huh?
You know, this is good stuff. Okay, so you know what? Glad we got that over with. So we're going to start this podcast or video or whatever. We're going to start it off because there's a lot of bad blood between us, you know? I don't have the best opinion of you.
Taylor Swift, baby.
You probably don't have the best opinion of me. You know, I don't really like a lot of what you do and say on the internet. Just, I think you know that. And you probably feel the same way about me. So before we get into that, which is going to happen, that's what people are here to see, let's start this off by saying something nice about each other.
Wow,
if you want some time to think, I can go first.
Well, if I had something nice.
I'm excited to hear. This is just what's so ridiculous about this is immature on both sides, but Jadyn makes this look mature. Like, obviously, this is like a little bit of an antagonistic tactic, and frankly, it's funny. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this is so bad. No, it's actually, you know, it's funny, but this whole thing is just fucking crazy, dude.
Nice to say about you, Acheeto. I mean, I'd say, man, what's something positive I can say about you? I mean, it seems like you have a decent work ethic. I'll give you that. That's pretty admirable.
Work ethic?
I'd say, yeah, you got a decent work ethic. It seems like you're taking the self-help approach a bit, and while there's a bit of issues.
Well, I don't. I think if Jadyn's talking about how Acheeto's taking the self-help, well, I can't say words, approach. I don't think that's what's happening. It's more of like a concern troll, like the pretending to like give a shit thing, which is whatever. It's just a little bit of silly goosery.
With that approach, I think the core root of that's good. You heavily focus on self-improvement and bettering yourself, and I think that's admirable.
I appreciate that.
Wow, beautiful.
So, you know, I very much appreciate that because you could have sat here and you could have said, Acheeto, you know what? Actually, no. There's nothing I like about you. I think that you smell like asparagus. I don't like the way that your YouTube profile picture looks. Every time I see it, I recoil in disgust. I get the urge to break my LG monitor, you know?
Wow.
You could have said anything.
It's like
you
the old
you
days.
could have played off the previous Hitler bit and said, well, given that I find myself akin to that historical figure, I actually feel the need and feel the intuitive urge to place you in a certain chamber where you experience a cause of death. So I'm glad you didn't do
conversation.
I mean, that's kind of oddly specific. Are you projecting a bit?
Okay.
No, I'm not projecting. I actually don't want to
I don't
be
know
gassed.
why that would be.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think
Gas me up,
anyone
baby.
wants that to happen. I mean, I think that would be a horrible way to die.
That wouldn't be great. I agree with you. That wouldn't be fun.
Genuinely speaking, I wonder how it feels like to just be a Jewish person. Like, it's just right now. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel right now? Like, it's like, damn, this is just like, imagine you're just like a fan and you're like, you have family who died in the Holocaust. This is not funny. Sorry. And you're listening to this and you're just like, wow, this is just hurting my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I just wonder. And like, I have a little bit ethnic Jew in me. So, but like, I don't really identify with that part of me, So I just wonder how that would feel. I truly do.
Fun. Yeah. It took me a second. I had to think about it. Yeah. Would not be great. Okay. So now, for me to you, I would say one thing I can give you credit for is you are very, very informed on online culture, which is very good for what you do. You know what's going on.
Okay.
You know who people are involved with. You understand the intricacies of different dramas, different situations that are going on, and that plays well to your strengths. Well, of the fact that you're online a lot, so that can help you assemble better videos.
I mean, this is more of just Acheeto calling Jadyn terminally online. So, which, by the way, I would say that you both are, but yeah, you probably have a pretty strong argument about Jadyn being a little more terminal on it. So,
are informative and entertaining to the viewer in terms of a factual basis. So I think if you play on these strengths even more, you'll be able to grow your channel more. So you can make videos that have mass appeal to them. So I think you can definitely do that. And I also think that you have a lot of ambition because you have like 3 channels that you're working on the side, and I see that you use them. So I give you credit for that. I was going to say your work ethic as well, because you have these diversified YouTube portfolio. So
gotta love it.
Good on that. So okay, I'm very glad that we were able to start this off by not having any issues, any beef, anything, right off the bat. But now, unfortunately, this does have to go in a direction of, we're going to have to talk about some stuff that I think you probably have a general idea of where this is going to go. But I want to talk about some of your controversies because I've criticized you for them. I've been some of the controversy itself, right? People, like on your Wikitubia page, you can see Acheeto beef as one of your controversies.
Wow.
So let's talk about your controversies, okay? So the first thing that I would like to bring up is very recent. So there was an AI-generated channel of content that basically parodied your main channel content. Okay. This channel just went by the name Jadyn and used a AI program to simulate your voice and make it seem as if you were talking. And it basically just downloaded these fake audio recordings of like this AI version of you talking and put it over gameplay and then uploaded it to YouTube to sort of parody your videos. Now, you went on and you copyright striked all of this person's videos. This person had 26 subscribers. And
how many views did the videos get? Where like it was that big of a deal to copyright strike it?
It turns out now that their channel has been terminated. How do you respond to the fact that you basically went out of your way to take down videos for a guy that was basically just doing some playful jokes?
I feel like on this instance, who really cares? I think that we are very fresh and new into the conversation about AI. And so, like, my take, people were upset about the AI situation, my perspective, but realistically speaking, I think it's an issue that people can profit off of your likeness in that capacity. And I don't know how good they were. Maybe people were actually thinking it was Jadyn. I don't really know. I think it's fine if you're thinking like, oh, it's just not a big deal. It's like a silly little thing. But I also don't blame anybody for wanting to remove that stuff, especially since we haven't had a conversation about this as a society, right? We create rules on things as a society by talking about them and experiencing them. This is a very new experience. I could see why somebody would be like upset about that. I don't care. Like, I don't think that it's something that you could really pin or that you should pin against Jadyn for. It's not really that big of a deal. Even if you think that they're wrong, again, we haven't really talked about this as a society, so I think it's okay to be wrong about this. But like, I don't know. I haven't seen the videos. They're gone, I'm assuming, and I really don't care. Maybe they were worried that people were going to like troll them more based on it. That doesn't mean that, you know, you can just pull people down because they troll you. But if they were like genuinely afraid that people would actually think it's them and it said something like suspicious or something, again, like, whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So, and then I guess like, were they saying it was a parody? Is another factor as well, because if you're not upfront about it being a parody, that could be shitty too. But okay, let's continue.
So yeah, now that you mentioned that, I'm actually working on a video like addressing this entire scenario as we speak. But I mean, I'll admit I probably didn't handle that situation the best, and it's like come to my attention that maybe using the copyright system wasn't the best idea. Maybe. I just kind of felt that I was sort of justified. I mean, this channel was impersonating me, right? They were using my channel assets. They were using my logo. They were using my outros, and they were using my voice. Now, I copyrighted the channel, and I also sent in an impersonation report. And they got the copyright strike, but that didn't actually take the channel down. They were uploading a day after that. So I'm assuming that the channel got a warning from the copyright strikes. And YouTube, they looked into it, and they decided that what this channel was doing falls under impersonation, and so they decided to take the channel down.
Oh, shit, I didn't mean to go
Probably
there.
wasn't
Okay.
good of me to basically kind of abuse the copyright system.
Well, see, this is the problem, is that like Jadyn exists in like in a particular commentary sphere and doesn't like everything that you said was solid until you were like, maybe I abused it. You probably didn't abuse the copyright system. I mean, maybe you could have reported it differently, but if YouTube did, and I don't know if they did, but if they did individually analyze it and decide that it was, removable and it was justified to remove, like, then like there's really nothing to apologize for. So who cares?
System. I admit to that, and in the future, I won't use the copyright system. I'll just send in a report if I do feel like I am being impersonated. This like AI stuff, it kind of falls in sort of a gray area at the moment. It's like I don't know. I feel like if you're making a channel and you're using someone's voice and you're making a parody video, it's like one thing to upload a parody video to your channel, but to make a channel that's like dedicated to doing that, that's like dedicated to impersonating someone using their voice, making a like. Yeah,
you could also argue that like in the context of the situation, it could be considered like harassment and bullying, right? My understanding is that like if you that could be a thing, like especially if you explicitly focus on one person constantly like doing this kind of like shit, and I can't imagine it was in nobody really likes Jadyn, so I can't imagine it was like positive the shit that was going on. Okay.
Commentary videos. I think that's a bit different, and I think it was impersonation.
So on one hand, you're making the claim that it was impersonation, but on another hand, you're saying that you were wrong to take action against their channel. So first of all,
I was wrong to use the copyright system.
Yeah, that's why Jadyn shouldn't have said like, "Oh, I was wrong with this part." Like you wouldn't be wrong by your logic, and it just leads to like it's this fear. It's this fear of criticism. It feels like. That Jadyn has, or Jadyn, whatever, DL, I'm going to call Jadyn now, has, and they can't really commit to a perspective. You don't want to be that person. People are going to pick you apart. You got to try to be like a little bit stronger on that.
Because it wasn't a copyright issue, but at the same time, when I did flag a few of their videos for copyright, I also flagged it for impersonation, and YouTube didn't take it down for copyright; they took it down for impersonation.
Right.
And I've since rescinded those copyright claims.
Well, it doesn't matter now, does it?
It was not right. It was not. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
The dude's
like,
channel's gone.
The thing is, though, if I hadn't copyright,
I mean, the dude's channel was like it was just like a Jadyn troll channel. Like, who cares? It's not like this was like a huge channel that like had all this promising young career. It was just somebody trolling Jadyn. Like, who gives a shit if it's gone?
Blame them, that was the issue in this situation. The fact that I used the copyright system in an issue that was not copyright related, the channel would have gone down regardless if I had done that or not, because YouTube took it down for impersonation. They didn't take it down for copyright. Okay. They took it down for impersonation.
I don't think the reason that the channel went down matters, because you were the person to get it taken down either way.
It does matter. And I think that especially if YouTube would analyze it and found that it should be taken down, then like what's the issue? Like it seems justifiable regardless. You know, unless you don't think that there's ever a justifiable reason to remove, like to have a page taken down. In that case, I don't know. Like, what if Hitler had since we're on the topic, had their own page? Do you think it would be okay if they took it down? You know what I mean? Yeah. If YouTube found that it was like violated their terms of service, who cares if it got taken down? Who gives a shit? Like who cares? It was a 26 from what I remember he said, it was a 26 follower page that was dedicated to just like deepfake trolling, basically, or AI trolling. Jade, who cares if it gets taken down? Like, why does it matter at all? Okay, I don't get it.
Do you understand? So the first thing is that I want to push back against your take on AI, because frankly I think it's kind of retarded. I don't think anybody watching your
probably the best take on AI. Like it was like word for word what I had to say. And I'm obviously smart. No, but it's a good take. What are you talking about? AI is an incredibly new thing. It's a very good take to say, like, hey, I don't think we're still talking about this topic. It was basically it. It's a good take. What are you talking about?
The videos on this channel thought that it was you. I think everybody was able to recognize that it was AI.
Maybe.
And keep in mind,
YouTube
there were
still pulled it down.
26 subscribers to this channel. Every single one of those subscribers are people that likely understand that there's a 300-something thousand subscriber channel that is what this parody channel is based off of, right? That's the first thing.
Hey, who cares?
The second thing is that you yourself also had a Leafy is Here AI parody channel, which, based on your own logic, as you just said, would be impersonation.
Okay, so take that one down too. Do they still have? Do they both have? Like, just take that one down as well.
So
do they still have it?
Leafy is Here have been in the right to file an impersonation claim against your channel that you run, which has 2,000 subscribers, I think, and get it destroyed. Do you think that would be ethical, or would that be fair?
Sure, go for it. I mean, I guess the little bit of a difference is that Leafy is like banned, so
Sky does Minecraft,
so that like you can't really engage with that anymore. But yeah, they still have the page up. Leafy is Here. I don't think they have any content. I guess they must have removed all the content. Sure, take that one down too. If you want to argue that Jadyn's like has a little bit of cognitive dissonance there, for sure. Yeah, take it down. Okay.
Even if YouTube thinks that it is impersonation, I think that would be a reasonable thing to do.
Yes, if they do.
The entire time that this was a parody channel, I even called it AI Leafy. So it's like very clear from everything on the channel that this is not actually Leafy. It's clear that this is AI, that this is a parody channel.
What's the parody channel for
multiple
Jadyn
times
called?
in descriptions on the channel that this is a AI channel. It's a parody. There's not.
I think if you're gonna make an AI channel, I just thought that it should be more than that. You should make it like at the beginning of every video. It's like, this is just an AI of such and such. But okay, I mean, whatever. I mean, I would say just get rid of both of them. Who gives a shit?
Actually, Leafy is Here. Now, he may have been justified in striking it. Honestly, I don't know, which is why I took the videos down in the first place, because I didn't want to do it.
That's the reason why, or if it's because you got backlash and you realized that there was like a bit of a cognitive dissonance here.
That I wasn't really sure, because I was hearing from some people that they were getting strikes for uploading with these AI synthesized voices, because they may be against YouTube terms of service themselves for making this AI content. So I took it.
They might be if YouTube removed it. They might be to some extent. So
I took it down because of that. Okay. Now, if I had made a channel and I had marketed it, I had stolen someone else's like channel art, and I was like, I'm Leafy is Here, and I tried to pretend to be Leafy is Here. I think Leafy would have every right to be upset by that and even file a strike if he wanted to.
Okay, so you do understand that this was a 26 subscriber channel.
Who cares?
Do you think that any of the people that subscribed to that channel like got confused and thought that like they had been unsubbed from you? And like I don't understand. Like, do you think any of the 26 people that were subscribed thought that they were actually subscribed to you? Like, when there's no videos on the channel, the voice sounds very off, because that AI voice wasn't really the best. I mean, it could tell that it was trying to mimic your voice, but it was clearly fake. The speech patterns were all robotic. It all seemed like artificial and fake. I just don't understand how you could think that this was like genuinely an attempt to impersonate you.
Again, this is all subjective, but the channel was impersonating me. They were using all my channel assets. They used my name, and they were uploading videos.
I mean, yeah, you could argue that like the channel could have taken off and people would have thought it was actually Jadyn, blah blah blah. So if it got too big, it could be a problem. Then who cares? Like I feel like, okay, like you disagree. Again, it's a very new technology. I don't think it's unfair to. Even if Jadyn's in the wrong, we don't really know that right now. I don't think so. It sounds fine to me to remove it based on the situation that's going on, but who cares? Like, This is like a silly point to me.
My voice that they'd synthesized using AI.
I
felt I was justified, and YouTube obviously thought that it was justified because they took the channel down for impersonation. And I think I have every right for the protection of my brand and my channel to take down someone who is impersonating me.
Okay, but it was nothing more than just...
Who cares?
It was just took it down. And you could tell they were memes. I mean, none of the content that was posted on the channel was taken seriously by anybody. The most attention that was garnered by this account was Nicholas Diorio on Twitter highlighting it and saying, wow, look how silly this AI is. I understand that, you know, conceptually, if, you know, this channel were to get huge and then people actually got confused and thought this was you and it started saying some crazy things, right? Then maybe you have a case on your hands to...
So if you can see that if the channel got really big, that Jadyn has a case, then you have to concede that that Jadyn's in the right. Because if your argument is like, maybe if it blew up and people thought it was actually you, then you'd be in the wrong. It's like, okay, but then like this is called nipping it in the bud, right? Before anything potentially, I'm not saying anything dangerous would happen, but before anything potentially dangerous came out, or like that wasn't properly, I don't know, that showed Jadyn in a bad light. I'm not that, well, they already kind of do that, but you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, this whole point is kind of just silly. This whole thing in general seems like a kind of a pedantic criticism, whatever, but...
to take action to this person. But first of all, one, did you think about reaching out to the person behind the channel and asking them to leave their content?
Why should you have to?
Did you try to weigh the pros and cons of getting somebody's entire channel deleted because you felt that it was impersonating you? 3,
you can't keep trying to make it seem like Jadyn did this big horrible thing by deleting an entire channel and then downplay the size of the channel by saying it only has 26 followers. Like, the channel was completely unimportant, and the banning of it has absolutely no impact on that creator in any capacity who was making it for the memes. Like, like that's the reality. You can't really play both sides of this. All right, either it's you destroy the person's channel, or like either you got rid of this person's channel and I don't know, you have this grandiose opinion of it, which is silly, or you just realize it's a 26 follower channel. Like, who cares if they got taken down? So it's so irrelevant.
You understand that the people consuming the content may not have actually thought that it was you. So okay, I'll give you time to think about and answer those questions.
So like the thing is I saw this channel garnering attention. It was growing, and I did see a few people in the comment section being like, "Oh wow, is this really Jalen?" And the thing is I didn't want this to like set a sort of precedent that this was okay to essentially impersonate me. If you want to upload parody videos, that's fine, but don't market yourself as me. And that's basically what this channel was doing.
Right.
And it's not like
maybe you didn't hear my question. The question I asked is that before filing an impersonation claim to YouTube to get this guy's channel deleted, did you make any attempt to reach out to the person behind?
Who cares? If you're conceding that the reason that YouTube took it down is because of impersonation, then apparently, despite the fact that you said this isn't a violation of God, apparently it is. So like, why do we need to go that deep into it? It seems like I don't understand it. Some of these criticisms are so ridiculous. There's plenty more things to criticize Jadyn for. So move on to that instead of just like, frankly, it feels like a virtue signal over this topic of like, I can't believe that you got rid of somebody's content. Trying to make it just, who cares? Who gives a shit? Like, this whole thing is ridiculous.
Channel.
I did not see any reason to reach out to this person.
That's insane. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous.
Why is it insane?
It was clear to me that this person was acting maliciously.
Why would you reach out to somebody?
You don't know that.
The sole purpose.
Wait, hold on.
No, they created this channel with the sole purpose to impersonate me.
That's just okay. You see, like I just can't. That's just not true. Like, you don't know that because you're making an assumption of their intent, which you can't.
I think that it's a reasonable assumption of their intent, given the circumstances that are going on right now. It's a reasonable assumption. It's like it's a reasonable assumption that I'm going to lose this fucking round. Yeah, okay. They had I mean, listen, I don't know the videos, so I guess I don't really know, but who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, none of this matters. This is such like an irrelevant conversation right now. Get on to something that actually matters instead of just like fucking crying about this dumb shit. Oh, well, did you go like, that's beyond what would be generally expected based on the situation, is going and reaching out to the person impersonating you. That's just silly. It's just silly goosery. Why should you have to reach out to the person that's impersonating you? That's YouTube's job. Why would you go through that stress? Excuse me, sir, can you please what? Like, who cares?
Can't see through the video. You don't know that. They could have just been...
I think I can make an educated guess as to what their intention was.
You don't know that. Maybe in their head, they're posting a funny parody video where, okay, yeah, sure, maybe you're the butt of the joke, right? And maybe you feel impersonated. They're making a parody video using AI, okay? But they just...
And they could have done that on their own channel instead of making an entire channel that was marketed as being me.
Jadyn's correct here.
I was making the point that, like, they post this, okay, and they think that is really funny, but they just don't have the intuition to say to put parody in the title or to put it on their own channel.
Who cares?
In their head, this is just a totally harmless thing to do. But you strongly disagree, okay? So in their head, maybe they're not acting maliciously at all, and all they need is a tap on the shoulder from you to say, hey, if you could just put parody in the title, that'd be cool. Hey, can you just maybe change your channel? That'd be cool. But instead of doing that, instead of even taking the action to look at why this person would be doing this or who this person is or anything, you just straight up not only copyright claimed them falsely, but put an impersonation against them. Do you think that you could have handled?
Okay, and the impersonation went through from YouTube, so they're in the wrong. It's just like this is what the silliest point that's being made here. This whole entire part is ridiculous to me. Who cares?
So the impersonation side better? I mean, you're saying in this call that you think you behaved completely rationally, but I disagree.
I do believe so. Yes.
You think
I believe I had every right.
I agree
to
with
strike down
Jadyn,
this channel. And if push came to shove, I would be willing to fight this in court because I do believe I have a valid claim of impersonation.
Okay, but you're shifting the goalpost a little bit because we're not talking about would you be in the right to do that, okay? Because like you said, that is a gray area.
Well, that is the whole conversation, though. Are you in the right to do it? If you acknowledge, okay, you 100%, the conversation is about, are you in the right to do that, right? If it's in a gray area and you agree, that means that you can't really say that they're in the right or the wrong. So it's just why are we heavily debating this situation? That's such a non-point. It's a new thing that people are considering, and YouTube said like, yeah, let's take it down. Morally, like Jadyn doesn't remove people's channels. Jadyn doesn't have the power. Who cares? This whole thing is like weirdly terminally online. Okay, it's fucking bizarre.
AI is a gray area. Okay. So in court, whatever. But do you not think that, like, from like a personal side of it, that you could have made an attempt to like leave a comment on this person's video, trying to reach out to them before?
Who cares? Why would they need to do that? It's unrealistic expectation.
Completely smoked. Like, yeah, maybe you're in the right to do that.
Who cares?
Could you have handled it better from the personal side?
No. Who cares?
Potentially, but
just
at
say
the
no.
same time,
Say no. This is dumb.
Shouldn't have impersonated me.
That's exactly.
You do understand. Maybe they weren't even like trying to.
Who cares? Oh my God, it's so dumb.
I think it was pretty clear that they were impersonating me. They went out of their way to impersonate me. If they had made a parody video on like their own channel, like George Bob Gaming 69, and they uploaded a parody video, that's fine. I wouldn't have had an issue with that. But it's the fact that they were branding themselves as me, and I saw some people in the comments believing it was me, and I saw this channel was gaining attention, and so I took action before this channel could potentially damage me and my brand before it got more.
Before it can hit 27 subscribers. I understand. But hold on. What you just explained, why not then? You know, you see this issue, okay?
Why not reach out to them? We get it.
And you think, okay, this guy's using my brand.
For one thing, though, let's be like, Jadyn's brand doesn't have exactly high stock right now. Okay.
So why don't you just tell him, hey, can you switch the brand?
No, who cares?
If you're saying it would be okay, so long as you use George Bob Gaming 69, just leave a comment and say, hey,
who cares?
You know, you have 48 hours to change your name to George Bob Gaming 69, or else I'm going to file an impersonation lawsuit. Like, why not do that instead? That seems like it would reduce like the negative look that you get from this significantly.
There is no actual negative look that Jadyn gets from this. It's because like Jadyn is having a conversation with people in like a community that doesn't really know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, who cares? Truly to Jadyn, just stop interacting with these people. I mean, like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is like the weirdest. Like, there are definitely things to criticize Jadyn for. Let's be real, but this is like such like a weird, just kind of a bad faith argument. I don't think that there's anything that Jadyn could do that could be looked at in a positive light, even if it's a normal thing to do. That's kind of where we're at. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, oh my God, they told YouTube that they didn't like this channel impersonating them, and YouTube said, yeah, we don't either. Let's take it down. That's it. That's what happened. That's as far as it goes.
I mean, it's because I didn't feel that this individual, whoever they were acting in good faith.
How do you know that?
How do you know that? We get it. Just keep going.
Innocent, like mistake, because I don't think you just innocently like synthesize someone's voice, make commentary videos using said person's voice, and then brand yourself and steal their branding. I don't think that's
yes, you
an
can.
innocent
People do it
mistake.
all the time. Have you seen these like Donald Trump gaming videos where the channel name is Donald Trump and the voice is Donald Trump and it literally is pretending to be Donald Trump? Like, this is done all the time.
Well, for one, it's Donald Trump, so people know that it's not them, right? Number two, we're most likely talking about TikTok videos, because I don't think that there's any channel named Donald Trump that's putting out AI videos like Donald Trump. And if they were, that's also could potentially be dangerous. I don't know. I guess if it's since they could say some weird shit, but I don't even know why I'm engaging with this topic anymore. This topic,
but they seriously brand themselves as if they are seriously Donald Trump.
Well, I mean that's your opinion, right? I mean that's your conclusion based on like. I mean, who's to say that you're saying you don't take it seriously?
A bunch of opinions.
I mean, so the thing with those videos, I've seen those videos. They don't seriously like brand themselves as if they are Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whatever. But what this channel was doing was a lot different than that. They were seriously branding themselves as me, and they were not clear that they were a parody channel. And I just don't think it's right for them to impersonate me.
Okay, well, again, that's just up to like. I mean, this is now we're getting to the most subjective argument. Like, at what point?
Not really.
I mean, this.
Okay, if what since you're not contesting anything Jadyn's saying, you just keep saying, well, what if? What if? That's basically your argument. Okay, it sounds like this person used the same assets Jadyn uses for their channel, and actually tried to make it seem like it was them. In that case, like that's impersonation. There's a profound difference between that and uploading a silly TikTok video that pretends to be Joe Biden. So
I felt like
this entire argument is all completely subjective, and I feel like this entire thing has been blown out of proportion. I don't think this should really be considered as huge of a drama as it is. And there are valid criticisms. I shouldn't have used the copyright system when this was not a copyright issue.
Agree on that. But
I do believe I was 100% valid in my impersonation claim.
And here's what I'm saying. I'm saying you could have been if you had made outreach to this person first.
Don't need to do that.
If you do that,
dumb,
and then it turns out that they are acting maliciously, that they actually want to pretend to be you to get people to hate you, okay, or something like that. At that point, then you can file an impersonation lawsuit or an impersonation claim because it's very clear and you have receipts to back that up. But instead of that, you assume that the person behind the channel is acting maliciously when you don't know that, okay? Because they have your same logo and your same username. You just assume they're trying to impersonate you and make you look bad, but you don't know. Maybe they're trying to. Let me finish.
That's what they were doing.
Right, but you don't. But again, you don't know that. You can make a guess. That's the entire point. You're guessing. You're guessing they don't like you. You're guessing they're trying to F you over.
Guess. A lot of people don't like Jadyn.
Just ask, hey, could you change your username? Hey, I think people are going to think that this video is made by me. I don't want them to think that. Could you change your thing? Instead of even doing that, you just assumed, which is bad. Do you agree?
Maybe potentially, and maybe going forward, if I run into a scenario like this, I will probably reach out to the channels before filing.
Why?
That's all you had to say, because when you're making guesses, you end up drawing conclusions without even hearing it. You conclude something that's inconclusive, because you concluded he's acting malicious. We don't even know if he was, but, now his channel's gone, so we have no idea what's up with that. Okay, but going forward, if you think somebody's acting maliciously when making a video, talk to them. Seriously, just talk to them.
Okay.
Like, unless it's hyper clear in the video, if they say something like, I don't like Jadyn, go flag their channel, go get them deleted, that's clear, right? But this isn't clear. We don't know. So, okay, I'm glad that we agree.
So far, we're 1 for 1. All right, Jadyn failed on the trans Hitler. It's a dumb remark, and Cheeto's bombing on this point. This is just a ridiculous point. So,
all right, moving on to the next topic. Jadyn, do you hate religious people?
No, I do not hate religious people. Okay. I merely hate the systemic side of religion.
Both of them are just like so desperately trying to use like big words. Like what do you mean it's the systemic side? Listen, I'm assuming Jadyn means like my perspective, which is like I love God, and I myself, I do believe in God. I'd like to. But I don't believe in the organized religion, because I think that the organized religion is typically has been weaponized historically to hurt people. I think that's bad. And so that's why it's difficult to tack on or to believe in organized religion, especially with some of the aspects where, historically children have been abused in these situations, and then you have these priests that just get shipped around, anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. I feel like a lot of the organized religion is weaponized, right? I think that's what Jadyn's talking about. I could see why they would potentially hate religion or religious people, considering religion fundamentally doesn't find their existence to be valid, right? I don't think that you should be hateful of anybody, but if you're operating in a situation where one person clearly doesn't like you and it invalidates your entire existence, I could see why you would hate that person in return. Is it ideal? Of course not. It wouldn't be ideal, but I think that you should put the burden onto the person who's being hateful first, right? Hot take. Oh my God, guys. Hottest take of the century, frankly. Okay, so there you go.
I just believe that law, the state, and religious beliefs should be kept separate.
Sure.
And I don't believe that anyone's religion or anyone's religious beliefs should be enforced upon other people. and I don't think that people's rights should be infringed upon due to someone else's religious beliefs.
Okay. So I agree with that. Now, a while ago, you made the claim that being religious has similar properties to being racist. Do you agree with that claim still, or do you want to remedy that claim?
That's kind of funny.
I will say that certain religious people, due to their religious beliefs, they do harbor hatred to certain groups of people due to their religious beliefs. But are all religious people like that? Not necessarily. And I don't necessarily agree with my framing or what I said back then, because obviously I was in I was in an irrational emotional state, and I've since apologized for that scenario on numerous occasions.
Right. Well, I frankly do not really care about an apology for these claims, but rather a intellectual shift into not believing them, because you can apologize for saying anything but still believe it. You understand? So I'm trying to comprehend that. When you've made all these tweets, there's a bulletin board of all your anti-religious tweets, and then as so recently as December, you're saying things like, and then you're spamming things like Jesus is dead to get a rise out of me, and then have to ask.
Well, first off, do you deny that Jesus is dead from your religious perspective and your beliefs?
Right.
Is that not a true statement?
Listen, but you understand what you're saying though is like when you tie that into everything else that you say, why else would you say it other than to get a rise out of me?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything that Jadyn's doing is correct, but generally speaking, religious people don't particularly care for LGBTQ people. It's unfortunate. I don't really know how else to say that. And it pisses some people off, especially in a time where the entire focus of the Republican Party is to just be homophobic and transphobic. There's really no other policy idea that's coming out of their mouths. And so, is it perfect? No. But I could see why. They're trying to get a rise out of people. Jadyn has a problem with being too edgy. But in these edgy commentary spaces are typically less than stellar when it comes to LGBTQ people. I'm not really super, are any of us surprised or anything,
My whole point is that, are you not okay, what's a good way to frame it? Okay. So you don't hate religious people, but if you were to see somebody on Twitter saying that perhaps you need God, what would you say?
I would disagree, and I would probably say that God is not real. Because obviously, if they're telling me I need God, I would say that their intent is to get a rise out of me, and probably comes from a place of ignorance or even hate.
So
if someone's telling Jadyn that they need God, I'm assuming it's in the context of them doing something wrong. That by itself isn't really that big of a deal. But if they're saying that you need God because you're a gay or LGBTQ in some capacity, then obviously there's a problem there. Sure, it depends on the situation, but
okay, so that to me shows the intellectual disconnect. So I feel like when somebody tells you need God or you need church or you need Jesus, I don't think they're saying that out of hatred. I think they're saying that
they're criticizing a behavior that you have and saying you need God, They may not be saying it out of hatred. It depends on the context. It's just a very, it's a very specific situation.
Out of love, they're offering in all of.
I wouldn't say out of love necessarily, but
remedy.
Okay.
Now you may not agree with it. You may think it's silly. You may think it's archaic or non-scientific or whatever, right?
Yes, I agree with all of what you just said there. Yes, I believe that's a factual statement.
Okay, great, but you have to understand it doesn't come from a place of hate.
Maybe it does. Who knows?
I think it does, and maybe they're not aware of their.
So that's
their
where the
hatred,
racism comparison comes
but,
from.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
Yes.
No, hold on. You can't have
so
unconscious. Hold on. Wait, I'm trying to understand. So they may not be aware that they're hating somebody when they tell them that they need God.
Yes.
Explain that to me.
So. I'm assuming you're referring to oftentimes many Christian individuals. They will tell people to seek God or find God because they are doing things that they deem to be degenerate, as being queer, homosexual, transgender, or even sexually promiscuous. They will say, "Get God," and I believe that does come from a place of hatred or ignorance.
So let's
definitely comes
so I'm
from
gonna expand on what you just said. I don't think it's entirely exclusive to what you just labeled. I think that it could also just be someone acting insane or crazy or having a meltdown on Twitter that you can just say, hey, you need God,
sure,
just wind down. Now, obviously,
well, I mean, if we're being realistic here, if someone is crazy, I believe finding God would probably be the worst thing for them to do.
Okay, well,
maybe
that's can you explain why?
I mean, let's be real. listen, not to be an asshole, but I mean, nobody's seen any burning bushes or anything lately, or at the very least, we don't take those people seriously when they say they do, like they have in the Bible. We don't see any more prophets or people who say that they are, they're the son of God or anything, and that's probably because we value mental health more than we value religion. All right, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they should see God. Maybe that's the second coming of Jesus Christ. Maybe we should just stop putting people in mental hospitals and just make them the new messiahs for all the religions that are going on, since that might have been probably why these people were saying all these fucking crazy things historically. Let's just be real.
Because let's just say that crazy plus religion never ends well.
Okay, so I just had a sip of water here. I want to say that the amount of people, and you can look up these personal testimonies of people who explain that they were in a low point in their life. They contemplate suicide, they're addicted to drugs, they live these degenerative lifestyles, as you sort of alluded to, and then they find, not just Christianity, but any sort of religion, and beautiful. They sort of begin a better life for themselves. So I don't...
Yeah, that's great, and I think that's really powerful. There's also people who want to kill themselves because of religious ideology, especially LGBTQ people, when their rights are trying to get taken away. So, like, on the one hand, that you want to say, like, oh, well, these things, religion can be really good. It can also be really bad. Okay? It's going to be subjective. And since you're talking to somebody that's gay, that probably faces, like, issues with, like, fucking transphobia all the time, or the trans, rather, they're probably going to have, like, a little bit of a different perspective on this. At the end of the day, like, this is a non-productive conversation. It's just silly.
I really understand how necessarily somebody in a bad place...
I'm glad that they were able to do that. I'm glad that they were able to
you said it
find
never ends
something
well. You said it never ends well.
That helps.
So that people with like mental issues, it never ends well. Like, so I mean, sure, I think that the idea that they're trying to get at there, is just that crazy religious people in power can be very harmful.
But I mean, from my personal belief, as someone who is not religious and as someone who is atheist and is more sort of into philosophy, I would say that using religion and using these beliefs that I deem to be unfounded, I believe that there's issues there. But if that's what someone needs to live better and to have a better life, I support their right to do that, and I think that's great that they were able to do that. But if they're going around trying to, I guess you could say, indoctrinate other people into their religion, I believe that is an issue.
Someone telling you find God on Twitter is not indoctrination.
I mean, clearly the way that
clearly it just depends on the scenario. Like, depends. Like, literally the answer here is it depends on what specific they're telling you to find God. But most of the time, it's because they're criticizing a particular behavior that you're exhibiting. It's literally whatever. At the end of the day, he could, Jadyn, she. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Could just say that it's none of your business and people shouldn't be telling me to find God or something. It really doesn't matter. But let's continue.
Find God is.
People say touch grass, like it's the same thing.
Yeah, well, when you're telling someone to touch.
Well, touch grass has a negative connotation to it too, no? Right? Like, you're insulting somebody. If you're saying that finding God is the same as touch grass, then you're acknowledging that it's said in like somewhat of a malicious way. I said it before, basically. Touch grass. Let me just turn my game down. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't think it was going to be so high up. But yeah, you're acknowledging that it's somewhat malicious, no?
Touch grass, you are in a way insulting them.
Okay, well, both of them stem from the fact that the assumption is that you're not in a good place right now. Either you're inside
well, then
too
you
much.
Could just say,
no, touch grass means somebody's calling you fucking dumb and terminally online. That's what touch grass. Go outside. That's what they're actually meaning. But okay.
Hey, you're not in a good place. Maybe you should get help instead of just being like.
Maybe you should touch the
God,
grass.
Find God, touch grass. Like that's a more inflammatory way to.
Okay, but hold on. You have to understand. Most people view get help and find God to be synonymous. You find them to be drastically different and hateful, even.
Yes, to a certain.
People will usually. I mean, it depends on the context of using it. It sounds like you're saying get help in the way of like get help, or like in an insulting way. Oh, baby.
Extent, yes, I do believe that can be a hateful statement.
Okay, so I tell you get help. Okay, no problem with that. You find no issue with that?
No, I have no.
Depends on the context.
Cool. So I say find God. What's your problem with that?
I like I said, I've already discussed.
So what's hateful about me saying that?
A place of hatred.
Yeah. So what's hateful?
It just is because
it just is.
I believe. I mean, I believe God. First of all, you're Christian, right? I believe that your God.
I believe God is cringe.
Is an entity of hate. I believe that the Christian God is immoral. And,
frankly, you could make the same argument for all gods, but
and not someone or something that I would ever want to follow.
Okay, so
and to tell me to seek that God to me comes off as
well, I didn't even. First of all, I'm being respectful to you. Okay,
I mean, listen, if you read the Old Testament, what Jadyn's saying is kind of hard. I mean, it literally justifies slavery. And people will be like, no, it's only if you can't pay for something. Like, it tells you that you can go take slaves from other communities. You can take them. You can remove them of their humanity for the rest of their life. Whoa, why is it so loud? Yeah. So that's not good. Okay, that's not really disrespectful to say. You know, they're saying that in a respectful way. So whatever.
On you or anything, so let's not like.
And I'm being.
No, you're not. You just told me. No. You just told me my God is a God of hate.
Yeah,
okay?
That's probably.
Not true.
Yes, I believe that is a fact statement. I'm merely stating my.
And if you think that if you're offended by that, like, then you should be offended with the people who've used God to try to strip the rights of gay people. I mean, like, you're just triggered, but it's kind of true based on the Bible. The Bible itself.
Own personal beliefs.
All right, so I
respect your right to be a Christian, but if you're going to ask me my thoughts on your religion or your God, I'm going to.
Okay, so I didn't ask for your thoughts on my God, but let's just turn the temperature.
You asked them to contextualize why they find it offensive to say get God, and they did. So you kind of did ask them that question. But okay.
Down a little bit. Okay, I'm just saying that when someone says find God, they're not saying to find their God or anything like that. You know, okay. God, they're just saying to find a purpose in life that brings you to a place where you're more connected to yourself. You have a better understanding of your purpose.
Or they're just trying to tell you.
It explains purpose, right?
Well, what if I told you?
Hold on.
What if I told you to transition? What if I felt that was helpful for you? Would you not find that offensive? Me telling you to transition, become a woman. What if I told you that? Would you not respond to that negatively or believe that is negative in some way?
Well, I mean, that is just not true. Because because telling a cisgender person to undergo transgender treatment would cause objective gender dysmorphia, and I'd probably end up killing myself if I maybe become a girl. So, I mean,
and I would probably kill myself if I had to follow a religion that I view as immoral.
Well, no one's saying you have to,
and not based in science.
No one's saying you have to. It's a suggestion.
Right? I mean, again, this is all kind of semantics. I would say that going forward, if you want people to receive you better, do not just leave your religion, leave God out of the question. Just say, get help.
Okay, well, I think you should get help, but I think that also
I and many others view that as an ignorant thing to say or a hateful thing to say.
Right, and I just okay. I guess maybe you're offended by being told to find God, and that's.
Listen, Jadyn does need to get help. Let's be real. The way that they've been acting is outrageous. Based on this conversation, though, it sounds like Jadyn has been getting some form of help. Okay. Now what I'm going to do in the game, if you pay attention to it, if you can even see it, because you can't. I thought that it was on the whole time. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to help this person find God by roasting him alive, okay? I'm about to show you what happens. This is going to be an accurate depiction of the way that historically religious people view LGBTQ people. That's just horrible. I don't condone it, okay? So here we go. You ready? Let's keep going.
That's not something that I don't think I can change in this call. So but you're saying I'm just confused at the root. So you do like religious people, or you don't like religious people? I just don't get it.
I don't hate religious people. I'm perfectly fine with religious people, and I believe everyone has the right to believe what they want. But religion itself, I, as an atheist, have my issues with religion as a concept, as a whole.
Okay. Moving on. The next topic I have here. What are your thoughts on black people?
That's okay.
Don't make a joke, Jadyn.
I support black people. I support Black Lives Matter. I'm all for it.
Do you understand how that may come into contradiction with you saying the N-word with the hard R to a black person?
I mean, so the thing with that scenario,
just in general, really, I mean, listen, what you know, at the very least, don't say anything in public, but you really shouldn't be saying that in private either, you know. But yeah, it sounds conflicting when you're banging off those words, you know.
Well, obviously, I apologize for ever using that word. That's a word that never should have come.
How long ago was this?
And I mean, it's been I think a couple months or a month ago or so.
A month ago.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know it was that recent.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
May have been a couple months ago. I don't know.
Okay.
Right. A lot of people have made assumptions on that whole thing and assumed that it came from a place of hatred. Which is simple.
Well, what it seems like is that they were in like an edgy group of people, and they were just saying wild shit, and everybody was probably saying wild shit, maybe not to that degree. And they thought they could trust their friends, whatever. You really shouldn't be saying it in general in private, but you know, I know that in the context this happened, like everybody was trolling Jadyn. Jadyn just has to stop associating with people that like don't like them. You know, find better friends. You know, just chill the fuck out. Because you know you're young, you gotta stop fucking around. Because this might follow your entire career. You know what I mean? And you need to show consistent like growth for a long period of time for people to give you more of the benefit of the doubt. You gotta chillax a little bit here. You know.
Completely not true.
Wait, hold on. I gotta do a full stop right there. So, telling someone to find God comes from a place of hatred, but calling someone the hard R doesn't? That doesn't make any sense.
They said that.
See, I have to explain the context to this scenario. First of all,
it doesn't matter the context. It was still a hateful thing that you said. Like, you have to acknowledge that. You're gonna make yourself look bad if you don't acknowledge that. You might be able to say, "Well, I didn't know that they were black." I mean, that's certainly an argument. You know what I mean? And that's fine, but at the end of the day, you can't justify what you did. So hopefully they don't.
I thought the bitch was white. Okay, quoting
Roseanne.
I thought the bitch was white. I didn't know he was black. So I'll admit I have.
Either way, it really doesn't matter. You shouldn't be using the word. I understand it makes it less bad to call a white person the N-word than a black person. Sure, but more but you still shouldn't be using it. But it's not you. Jay's response would be like, "I believe they're both hateful. I should have never said it, but I didn't realize that they were black. I was saying really edgy things around people who I thought were friends, and I obviously shouldn't be doing that, et cetera, et cetera."
I have an issue when I am sort of what's the word, in an emotional state. I will say things out of anger. I would just say the worst thing I can think of out the top of my head.
Sure.
And with the religion thing, right? I said the whole, I hope World War II happens to religious people. That was not like a serious belief I had. It was just something I said out of like anger and impulsivity. And I was in this Discord server, and I was like harassed in the server for like multiple days. Everyone in the server was all dropping the hard R. They were calling me the N-word. They were telling me to die, to kill myself. They're saying all kinds of like transphobic shit. And so I got in a call with this guy. I had no idea that he was black. It doesn't really matter. I should have never said it in the first place. And so out of anger, not due to his race, I just said the most offensive, horrible thing I can think of. And I think most people can agree, like the most offensive thing that you can call someone or say is the N-word.
Right.
Sure.
Got it. So
stop using the N-word.
Was that word something that like what? Okay, so I'm just trying to understand like why did that word just kind of roll off your tongue so well? Like, is that something that you've used before? And if the honest answer is no, then it's no. But when I see someone get into the heated moment,
it's just silly because like obviously it's like stupid. You shouldn't be using it. But I feel like a lot of these edgy spaces use this word. You guys act like you fucking don't. I don't know. I know I was a little goblin when I was younger. But it's just kind of silly. But yeah, I guess it did roll off their tongue really well.
Moment where they just yell hard R at somebody. It's usually because they've been wanting to do it for a while, or they sort of habitually do it when they get mad, which is sort of what you kind of alluded to. So have you called people hard R in your past prior to that incident?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd say I've done it a few times within the past.
Yeah, you see, that's no bueno. That's no bueno. That's no good.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I'm not smashing like on that video.
It's obviously not. It's not right.
Like that doesn't make me want to turn on the bell notifications to the Jadyn channel when I hear that we're dropping that. I
mean, what if I were iDub? So like, would you smash like and subscribe?
I'll answer that question in a second, but I want to say, do you understand that maybe using that to a black person, and on top of you admitting that you've also used it before in the same form to other people, doesn't that make you kind of racist?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I could understand why people may have that perception.
You would say like, yeah, it makes me like racially ignorant. You could say, be like, that's fair. The intention does matter. I doubt that Jadyn wants to call black people the N-word or anything, or thinks like lowly, but it is certainly concerning when you use that word in such like a comfortable capacity. Like, yeah, for sure. I would just say that. I'd be like, yeah, I was racially ignorant, and just kind of move on.
Perception. And again, it's definitely not something I should have ever said or should ever say. It's an awful word with an awful history, and it's not okay. And I'm not going to justify the usage of that word under any circumstances or any context, because it's a horrible thing to say. But it did not come from a place of hatred towards black people whatsoever. It was just, again, the worst thing I could think of. If the worst word were, I don't know, glorp, blorp, that would have been what I shouted.
Oh my God, don't say that. You just got to watch yourself. I mean, the G word, really? Okay, no, but to answer your iDubbbz question, would it be okay if iDubbbz said it? Listen, I think the word okay, it's like subjective. Would it be morally okay? Like, again, it all depends. Like, you used it calling somebody it who was black, right? And you've used it calling somebody it. When iDubbbz was saying it in his skits, right, I think he was just like saying it to say it, right? And I think that he was also like making jokes with it. Now, I don't want to be the person to determine whether or not something is okay or not, because, you know, it's just like I'm one person. It's sort of like a societal consensus. Right? But people seemed to like it back then. I don't think he was using it hatefully. I think you were using it hatefully. Out of anger, like you said. You try to find the worst thing to say to somebody. So, okay. You know, do you, Jadyn, on the air right now, would you say that you are not racist?
I would say I am not racist.
Okay.
I mean, do I potentially have preconceived notions? Am I potentially ignorant? I think a lot of people do. I think we all do, and I think it's kind of an issue that a lot of us have to work on. But do I believe that I'm hateful of any group of people or race? No.
Okay, that's a good take. I like that. Okay. All right, you know what? Okay, that could have gone worse. All right, moving on.
Dude, why are there
Jadyn,
so many of these?
Do you have autism?
Maybe.
Potentially. It might be a possibility. I mean, we've spoken to Keemstar, right? And he said I'm autistic. I might have autism, and that seems to be.
Well, I think that maybe you should try to find somebody that's a little more qualified to potentially make those calls. We're basically in the self-diagnosis capacity. Even if they are autistic, they certainly still have enough agency over themselves. They understand. They understand the interactions with the world pretty well. So I'm not really sure what it would necessarily matter if they were. But okay, I don't know why they're saying that they are. Go get a diagnosis if you actually think this. And you feel like you need
consensus from a lot of people, but have I been officially diagnosed?
From who? Nobody. Get the fuck out of here. You like online. Everybody calls each other autistic in your sphere. Nobody actually thinks you're autistic. I mean, go if you actually think that, go talk to somebody about it. This really needs to stop spawning more and more fucking people.
No, is it something that I'm looking into? Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be straightforward with you. You did say that back in December. We're in March at this point. What's the holdup?
Well, I mean, it's just a difficult thing to do. I'm in general, I'm not good at making appointments. And maybe that plays into some of the autism or ADHD, but I'm not good at making appointments. I'm not good.
So let's do this. I'll help you. Okay, I'll be the alley-oop. So why don't, after this call,
fucking Christ,
spend 15 minutes, find a doctor's office locally or someplace where you can get testing.
I mean, how am I sure that this place that I'm booking, that I'm getting, has the right tools, the right doctors?
This is so obnoxious.
It's not too expensive. That they'll accept my money, or it's like that takes a lot of.
Listen, Jadyn, shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, this is like insufferably fucking stupid. One of the biggest problems on the internet is dumb fucking people pretending that they have fucking autism. If you actually think it, go to get a therapist. If you don't actually think it, or you don't feel like it impacts your life in any significant way, because it probably doesn't, based on the way that you interact with the world, then just shut the fuck up. I don't know. Like, I'd be focusing more on, like, why are you pretending to be fucking autistic as, like, a blanket, right? Like, you clearly don't have, like, fucking autism, probably. People in the commentary community that aren't qualified enough to do anything outside of, like, nothing are telling you might have autism. Like, you've never sought a professional help. If you keep making excuses, you're, like, just stop, okay? You might not have the, like, what do you think? This is fucking silly.
A lot of work. That takes a lot of effort. And that's why I've been holding up. That's why it's difficult for me to set or make appointments.
Okay, I comprehend that fully, but it, at this point, has been about 3 months, and I don't think it takes 3 months. And if you need help, I think you can reach out to somebody that can help you, like, I don't know, a family member, trusted individual, whatever. But at this point in time, I mean,
currently, I live in a different state. I just moved states, and I don't have my ID. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of my papers, any of my shit.
So,
I lost
are you like an illegal immigrant?
Get your shit.
I mean, technically, I may technically qualify at this point, but I don't have my shit. I lost it.
Got it.
Hoggers.
So, like, again, there's just all these roadblocks and hurdles I have to go through to, like, get all this shit settled, and yeah, it's an issue.
All right. So, for the public record, are you autistic?
No, they're not.
For the public record, I would say inconclusive.
Okay.
As of yet.
You know what? I at this point, I'll take that answer. Inconclusive. That's fair enough. So, let's get.
Just walk away from them and you win.
And then I have one more topic after this, and then we'll call it.
I guess you do. Jesus.
Let's talk about the N-word. Wow. Not the N-word. The natty word. Natty Forsyth. Okay.
Cool.
Natty Forsyth. Everyone's favorite person. My best friend.
Natty Forsyth. So back in December, when we were at the zenith of this beef.
Natty Forsyth was just so exhausting. It's like literally, it's fucking like like the Natty Forces situation obviously is not ideal. Okay. What's happening here? Okay. Anyway, the Natty Forces situation is not ideal in any true capacity, right? I think my understanding of the situation was that they were in some kind of a fucking call with somebody that they didn't know the age of, and they were hitting on them. It turns out they were like 12, basically. They flirted with them, blah, 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 blah. And then they stopped the behavior. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. Is it wrong? Sure. But Acheeto keeps calling it pedophilia. It's like online pedo baiting. Like, stop diminishing what words mean. It's annoying, okay? They should have acted more responsibly, but they're clearly not a fucking predator. It's time to let it go. It's just dumb.
I called you out for having a friendship breakup with a person who had sent a picture of a genital to a 12-year-old, and then claimed that that genital was not his own, but was one that was found on Google, and asked this same 12-year-old to send pictures.
Sure.
Now, let's make sure that there's no misunderstanding. Is anything that I laid out so far incorrect? Or do you contest it?
I mean, I would say that the framing is a bit it's a bit false, because the way you frame it makes it sound a lot worse than it may potentially be. I mean, I'd say first of all, we don't even know. Right? So we don't even know. We don't even know if the girl is 12. We don't know their age. That's never been confirmed.
We do actually, because Natty has left it uncontested for months, right? You have to understand.
No, that's not my understanding. My understanding is the age it's not really conclusive at the moment.
Okay.
Well, the girl from what I understand is the D-pic that Natty sent was a meme of Thanos with his thing out. That's what he sent to
this that what it was?
Alleged 12-year-old or 14-year-old or however old they were.
Okay, so the girl we're speaking about came forward in a Discord call and identified themselves as 12, right? And this was corroborated, I believe, by members of this group chat that this person...
Yeah, so the biggest question... Well, first of all, the biggest question is, like, did the person know that they were 12 at the time? That's pretty much the biggest question. Again, it's not ideal. It doesn't sound like they had any level of actual intimate relationship other than, like, sending inappropriate memes. I mean, like, yeah, it's not good. But, like, in a world of actual fucking pedophiles that are raping children, I think that we can sometimes realize that we could just relax a little bit and let people make a mistake. They flirted with somebody that they didn't know the age of. They should have checked, obviously. They sent them a meme picture of a wiener from Thanos, apparently. It's okay. Don't do that anymore. That's not good. There we go. The punishment, like, we need to really have proportionate punishments here, okay? It's getting fucking preposterous. Just saying. Oh, fuck, I wanted to...
Now... Let's not even let's move on a little bit, okay? So what was your history with this person prior to cutting or burning the bridge with them? Because you had a public friendship breakup with this person on Twitter, and this was after everything about them being a alleged P word had been out there. So hold on.
I wouldn't necessarily.
There is no like actual pedophile allegation, right? Like, we understand that, like, this is not pedophilia. This is inappropriate. It's not pedophilia. They didn't realize it. Can you stop like using words like you don't know shit about that? Like, people just love to just use words randomly on the internet. Like, just Jesus Christ. I mean, holy fuck. It's nuts.
Say that's the case. We didn't really. We had like a fight, and Natty posted the DMs, and everyone was just like, "Oh, what the hell? This is fucked up." And so I apologized to Natty afterwards, and we reconciled afterwards.
That's nice.
Okay, so my point in the video was that you basically, as what it appeared to me, is that you had a fight with somebody, and your friendship was tainted and for a little bit, broken up, And I viewed that as, okay, these people are beefing, they're having a sort of like public beef. They're not friends with each other, at least they're not being nice to each other, right? And Jadyn's doing this to a person over something that wasn't related to these allegations. And I looked into these allegations more, and I found out, all of this stuff that I brought up in my video, that yes, there was, images sent to a 12-year-old, that pictures were asked for by Natty Forsyth to a 12-year-old, and I found it very strange that you were still friends with this person, while being conscious of this information and sort of hand-waving it, but finding issue with a sort of beef that you had rather than these allegations. So what would you say to that?
Now, truth be...
It kind of feels like you're intentionally trying to like sensationalize this. If the picture was of that was sent was just a picture of a fucking Thanos penis meme, like, and you're trying to make it seem like they sent their actual dick, like, it's just weird. It's just like really weird. Like, why are you playing it up? Why are you trying to use basically like political language in order to kind of hit this situation as hard as possible. It's fucking weird, man. People have such an obsession online with fucking pedophile shit. It's fucking unhinged. It's annoying as fuck. It destroys the conversation around this topic. Online, everything's pedophilia. Everything is like the worst, everything possible. It's destructive conversations that just diminish like actual, survivors of sexual assault, especially child ones.
Told I hadn't fully or completely looked into the allegations until after your initial video, but I had looked into them a few times. I had asked Natty about them a few times, and Natty has stuck to their story, which is that they were in this like group chat. Everyone was like edgy. They were all like sending fucked up memes and shit to each other, right? And they add this girl to the group chat, and they're in a VC, and they give Natty this girl's Snapchat, and they're all laughing, playing along, and Natty just assuming, which is wrong, right, of Nat to do, that this person was of age, and then Nat starts flirting with them on Snapchat, jokingly asks for nudes, and that's the scenario, that's the story.
That's their version of the story. Let's be clear, that isn't really what happened, or isn't
Well, the
confirmed.
point is, there is no conclusive story here, right. So you're framing that, like, Nat correct. Is a confirmed, like, pedophile or groomer, like, this is a known thing, like, so in your initial video, right. You framed it as if, like, everyone knew this, like, this was such public, like, widely available information, and that I was the only person who was, like, friends with this confirmed, like, pedophile, which was simply not the case. That was simply not true, and many people within the commentary community are still friends with Natty Forsyth, and like myself, hadn't completely looked into these allegations, or they had, and they came to the same exact conclusion that this was inconclusive, and that it was just a fuck up, a mess up, and that Natty did not have any pedophilic intent.
All right, so let's take a step back and just look at the facts bare bone, okay? Let's just look at the objective truths that have been admitted by this person. Sending, I don't care if it's a meme, right? I don't care if it's a picture off of Google. I don't care if it's a pornographic video, if it's his own genitalia.
Why?
Do you agree that sending that to somebody who is a 12-year-old or is just somebody who you don't know the age of is weird?
Just a dumb way to phrase it. Okay. You should care. Regardless, yes, we could say it's weird. It's weird if you send a Thanos penis meme to somebody. That's 12. It's predatory if you send your actual penis to a 12-year-old, right? Let's be intelligent here. Stop conflating the sending of a fucking meme to the sending of like an actual penis. Like, you're being weird. Like, you're just being like unintelligent here. Holy fuck. It's just so dumb. And of course, Cheeto's probably not going to get any real criticism from this because they're in a sphere of people who don't really give a shit about, applying accurate and correct criticism to things. This is bizarre, though, dude. Do you realize that, right? Like, it's just weird. Like, your entire interpretation of the situation is so fucking terminally online.
Yeah, definitely. I don't contest that. That's messed up. That's a fuck up.
Okay, all right, okay.
Nat's apologized for that numerous times, right. But is that predatory?
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Is that
we're gonna go through the facts here.
Is that grooming?
Right, we're gonna get to those questions. So let's continue. So you agree that that's very weird.
What the hell?
Next.
Yeah.
Hold on. So next.
Cool.
This same person, Natty Forsyth, with the same individual who is 12 years old, inconclusively. I believe she's 12 based on her own testimony. Okay. Now Natty claims to not know her age, and asks her for pictures. Natty went on to a podcast and said, regardless of if she was a minor, he would have not minded nudes to be sent back. Do you agree that's weird, or regardless of her age?
I doubt that they said that.
So what Natty meant by that, right, is they had assumed that this person was of age, right, when they messaged them. They had no idea this person was a minor, and they were flirting with them semi-ironically, kind of ironically, and assuming that this person was of age. If they had gotten nudes from them, they would have been fine with it. Now, did they get nudes from this minor? No, they didn't. So it's kind of
I don't think it matters whether or not nudes were actually exchanged.
Well, I think it kind of does matter, because at that point, that's kind of an issue.
I think the intent matters, which is the fact that he asked.
Well, if the intent matters, it seems like this person, Natty, whatever, who cares, didn't realize that they were young. That's the whole argument, is that they didn't realize how old they were, and they didn't confirm the age, and they should have. Dude, this is so dumb.
The intent, though.
He asked a stranger from Discord whose age is you don't believe is 12 for nude photographs. That's weird objectively, dude.
Well, I want to say, first of all, that is kind of subjective. I would say, yeah, that's
but asking a
again,
stranger from Discord
a lot
for
of
news,
people,
that's
a
not
lot of
normal
people
at all.
engage. A lot of people
Sure.
engage in that sort of behavior.
It's disgusting. It's degenerate. It's not normative at all.
And I would say, yeah, that is
Holy
degenerate
shit,
behavior.
dude.
But is
Jesus.
that predatory or pedophilic intent?
No,
It's just it's a fuck up, and Nat's learned from that fuck up. And I think that's
the
really
intent. The intent is that this person is sexually aroused. They're finding somebody to engage with sexual activity with, and they find this person, don't verify the age because they're so fucking horny or something. This person ends up being 12. Maybe they didn't know the age. I don't even know, right?
Well, everything you just described is like typical boys. Although Natty's a girl, sorry, but like none of that says predatory. Yes, it's weird. Don't do that, guys. But it's not predatory if you do that. Make sure you definitely verify age. So.
And then I'm just supposed to think, well, no, it was just a big mistake. No,
yeah,
this person,
probably.
as a result of their own behavior, gets canceled. And that's fair because you can't be on the internet as a public figure just finding people.
Because
you should get canceled for a mistake. Holy fuck, Acheeto, you're gonna end up making a mistake in the future, and you're gonna be like, guys, I shouldn't be canceled. It's not that big of a deal. And then people are gonna be like, well, you use this energy saying that anybody should be canceled for mistakes. So I mean, you're gonna kind of deserve it. It's fucking weird.
You're the one who tried to cancel them and indicated within your videos that they were a pedophile or a groomer.
Yes.
They're not. So.
I contributed to Natty Force's cancellation because I stick by what I'm saying.
Do you believe that Natty Force groomed anyone?
Yes, of course.
No, they didn't. You're an idiot.
Well, I simply disagree with that because there's no grooming here.
The grooming is a deep and like methodical intentional attempt to set somebody up for sexual exploitation. They didn't groom anybody. They talked to somebody they didn't know the age of. Grooming is like a really serious thing. Grooming is like disconnecting somebody from their parents and their family and trying to make it so that they are only dependent on to you. Grooming is a very methodical thing. Grooming is very intense. And frankly, this Natty person doesn't even seem intelligent enough to be able to do something to that magnitude. This isn't grooming. Stop using words that you don't fucking understand. There's like a huge problem online of people doing shit like that.
And there is no
predatory
or pedophilic intent here.
Hold on. So meeting somebody, a stranger on the internet, who by their own testimony is 12 years old, whose age was not verified by 94 said, to simply engage in sexual gratification without care for any sort of like boundaries or respect
grooming.
Or anything,
wow,
and only showing them attention because of sexual gratification. Is that not grooming?
It's not grooming. You're an idiot.
I mean, I would say your framing of this entire scenario
even with that framing, this is not grooming. You need to grow up and stop like weaponizing fucking sexual assault and grooming because it's pathetic and it's annoying. It's just stupid as fuck. I'm getting triggered.
Bit malicious.
How so?
But as I've said,
hold on. How am I being malicious?
Nat was under the assumption that this person that they were flirting with was of age. That was the assumption that they made, and it may have been a false assumption to which Nat has apologized for on numerous occasions. They were dumb, they were stupid, they fucked up, and they apologized for it.
Okay.
Was there any material harm from this incident? I don't believe that there was.
Probably not.
It would have been one thing if Nat, knowing this person's age, had engaged with them in this way. That would have been predatory, and that wouldn't have been okay.
Okay.
Yep, pretty much.
Do you think that YouTubers should be behaving, or public figures should be behaving the way Natty Forsyth is and was?
I don't think anybody should behave that way. We're kind of bordering now on like we're holding YouTubers to higher expectations than people in the real world, especially like nobody YouTubers. Obviously, if you have a lot of viewership and whatnot, you're generally you can be held more responsible for the way that you act, right? Because you have more of an influence on more people. Sure, I guess, but like they're still made a mistake and they're still a person. So I don't think anybody's getting out of their behavior like this is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I mean, I could argue that like you're acting wildly irresponsibly by incorrectly using the words pedophilia and grooming in a way that's like harmful because it just fucking gaslights people on the internet into thinking that like they're fucking victims and that everything is rape and grooming and pedophilia, and it diminishes actual victims or survivors of pedophilia and grooming. So, I mean, maybe you should act a little bit more responsibly with this dumb fucking perspectives that you have.
I mean, I'd say that's subjective, but probably not. I wouldn't engage in that type of behavior. But if we're being real here, I mean, Nat's kind of a retard, right?
Jesus. So then why do you keep giving them this ridiculous amount of charity?
It's not really ridiculous. This thing happened one time. Like, what other thing has Natty done since then? That's like, it's not ridiculous. It's not really charity. They made a mistake. And they're like, yeah. And then it's not charity. So what's happening is that Natty got in trouble for doing some dumb shit because they're an idiot, right? They didn't ask for age. And then you won't let it go. So now people are forced to defend it because you just won't shut the fuck up about it with using like the words incorrectly. I mean, pick up a fucking dictionary if you want to understand what grooming is. Holy fuck.
Well, because I believe that that's the right thing to do,
Bro,
and I just believe your framing of the situation is malicious and not
It is.
true. I mean, you're making very serious
I'm speaking,
claims
okay, what have I
that
said?
could ruin
Hold
a
on.
person's life.
Okay, what have I said that is objectively false?
You call them a pedophile and a
right now,
groomer.
right-
That is objectively false.
Yep.
And your videos
Grooming
are still
okay,
up to
okay.
this day, and you haven't removed or corrected the record.
Disprove that Natty Forsyth is a groomer.
Oh my god, like literally Acheeto is such a fucking loser. Prove Natty's a groomer. You haven't proved anything. You can't disprove something with no credibility. Like disprove that you're a groomer. Like that's not like, what are you talking about? They haven't done anything that's grooming. So that's your proof that they're not a groomer. That's it. Holy fuck.
Based on the information we understand, that
Oh
engaging
my God,
with somebody
who
is 12 years old without verifying the age for
Jesus
sexual
Christ,
gratification.
this is embarrassing for you, bro.
Do you want to pull up a definition of grooming?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pull it
the
up.
definition of
Please
grooming.
pull it up.
Let's do this. Okay, let me
Please
read this
pull
to
it
you.
up.
Grooming is when somebody builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them for sexual purposes.
None of that happened. They flirted with somebody that they thought was of like within a reasonable age range, and then it didn't go anywhere. It's not grooming. Your best argument would be attempted grooming, but unless they actively knew the age of the person, you can't really claim grooming. So, okay.
Okay, based on the assessment of the facts of what we know,
none of this
I would conclude that what took place here is grooming.
It's a good thing. I mean, I would honestly recommend go to college and maybe like study psychology a little more deep, or maybe just go to like an English class so that you can interpret words correctly, because none of these things that are happening that you're saying. You're saying is so dumb. Like, I don't understand. It's infuriating that you're insisting that this person's a fucking groomer. You're so wrong. It's so annoying. Holy fuck. If I was like fucking raped as a child and I had this dumb fuck sitting here telling me that this other person went through grooming in the same way that I did, I would probably fucking kill myself. That's how fucking insane this is. This is like it's like a next level gaslight. It's ridiculous.
How is it even remotely grooming, right? Nat is given this person Snapchat, and over the course of the next few hours, they flirt with the person on Snapchat, and ironically ask for nudes. That's not
a child. It
but
wasn't ironic.
they didn't know
I
it
can't
was a child.
believe that it was ironic.
Who cares?
I mean, have you seen the video where Nat's just like, yo, send me nudes, it'll only take a sec. Like, how do you take that seriously?
Bro, I've never known any person.
Bro, it doesn't matter if they were saying it jokingly. They probably wanted news, but they were framing it as a joke so that they wouldn't feel silly about it, right? We know that would be the case in this situation. Doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. What Natty needs to do is start asking age. Okay? That's what it comes down to. That is the prescription of the situation. Okay? They don't get the excuse I didn't know their age anymore. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Person in my entire life who has asked for nude pictures from anybody and not been serious about it.
I have. Have you been on Twitter? That's a common meme, just to ask people for nudes.
Okay,
they do it all the time.
Jane, let me just help you out here, because this is where people are going to think that you're insane. Do not use Twitter as like your point of reference for what is normal. That is a terrible
you're
mistake.
saying no one does that. No one jokingly asks for nudes.
Okay,
I'd argue that.
And then you can't argue. Well, actually, they do on Twitter. It's like, dude, people like touch animals on Twitter. Like, I don't understand. Like, yes, you can find freaks on Twitter. Yes, you can find people who agree with you on Twitter. There's Nazis on Twitter. There's psychopaths. There's murderers on Twitter. Let's not bring Twitter into this. I'm talking to normal people that if you bump shoulders to on the sidewalk, will give you a general answer on certain things.
Well, considering we're on the internet here, right? Merely being a commentary YouTuber is not normal behavior. Do you think this conversation right here is normal behavior?
Well, I'm doing
subjective.
my job, right? I mean, I'm interviewing somebody who I've done content about. So I mean,
is your job a normal job? Do normal people make commentary videos? Is that a normal thing to do?
Okay, but I mean, this is like a complete hand wave, because like this has nothing to do with like with snapping children, asking them for nudes. Like, yeah, I guess I guess the way that I make my money is like unconventional. But we're saying we're using normal in two different ways. You're using it in the sense of like frequency, like how often people do stuff. I'm using it normal based on like the sense of like societal standards. You understand?
Well, again, that's all sort of kind of subjective, and you can't really be like, well, no one's ever done this. No one's ever done this. Ironically, so that means that Nat didn't do it. Ironically, and again, the way you're framing it, Nat asked a minor for nudes. Nat did not know that the person was underage. And I think that's a distinction that you should make in a situation like this, because otherwise you're being malicious.
Okay, so
sure.
Whether the age was not verified, so whether the grooming was like conscious, like, oh, I'm
you can't you can't subconsciously groom somebody. Sorry, you're just fucking wrong. Listen, if you concede that the age wasn't verified and we all acknowledge this, then again, the prescription that like, hey, Nat, you need to do better is completely founded. That is the way that we're supposed to operate here. And by continuously trying to assign like intentionality to the situation, does the entire situation to service.
This is like a 12-year-old that I'm trying to gratify, or it's unconscious. Oh, I'm just trying to like nut off of like some Snapchat.
A grooming isn't just like not for nothing, but asking a 12-year-old for news isn't even grooming itself. Grooming is a very deep, methodical process of setting somebody up for sexual exploitation. It's not getting nudes from a minor. Grooming is very like malicious and predatory. And let me be very clear: it's bad to solicit nudes from children. But like grooming is like a next level fucking thing. Like it's not like this like little like small little thing. Like we have to understand this.
Person I met.
How is it grooming? To be grooming, there kind of has to be like a sort of pattern of behavior that usually takes place over the course of weeks, months, or years. This was something that happened over the course of a few hours. You can't really indicate from those few hours.
Okay, well now we are
grooming.
Now we are being somewhat subjective because now we're saying there needs to be a certain length of time that has like.
Yes. Oh my God. Holy fuck. Like not for nothing, but like this is insufferably fucking like insane. Oh my God. Dude, now we're being subjective. Dude, like everything's subjective. But the reality is the way we've defined the word grooming, there needs to be a period of time. There needs to be conditioning of a person. Like you can't just keep saying everything's subjective because you don't understand how to like interpret fucking words correctly. Like talk to a professional. Like maybe you need a diagnosis for autism. I don't know. Like I'm sorry for anybody that actually has autism. This is the problem with living in an echo chamber, in a community of people who are just going to outright believe you on everything that you say and take everything that you say like as like a fact. Because like, holy fuck, what you're saying is so wrong. And your community should be saying like, hey, listen, you're kind of dumb here. You literally pulled on the most toxic fucking person with the worst credibility ever that I've ever seen in the commentary community, which is Jadyn. And you're somehow taking L after L on this. And it's fucking impressive how you're doing it. I'm impressed. It's insane.
This is just kind of bizarre. Like, if I know a guy who's talking to a minor, even if it's for 15 minutes, like, yeah, that's grooming, bro. Like, I don't know. Like,
no, it's not, bro. You're fucking wrong from an objective perspective. It's not right, bro, but it's not grooming. Grooming is a very specific thing. Definitions of words matter. Stop calling everything grooming. The internet calls a 19 and a fucking 17-year-old grooming. Like, this is where we're at. Okay, you're wrong about what grooming is. Stop playing this fucking dumb game. There was no grooming involved. Grooming is, like, so fucking intentional and fucking malicious and predatory. This wasn't what that is. This was an act, like, accidentally asking somebody or intentionally asking somebody for news without verifying age, which is wrong. You need to not do that. It's fucking stupid and ignorant and dumb as shit. But that's it. Stop being fucking like this is where like, find God, touch grass. I don't know what to tell you because holy shit. Okay, Jesus fuck.
Like why are we trying to I don't really understand this rebuttal. But okay,
well, yeah, clearly you don't understand.
We're just gonna like run in circles here, and it's gonna be about like, oh, we don't know.
I mean, I believe that that's an important distinction.
It is a very important distinction.
As claims as serious as
very
this
true.
that you've blasted on your YouTube channel that's gotten over hundreds of thousands of views. I believe that's an important distinction.
Yeah, and
to make.
And I came to these conclusions rationally.
There's a difference.
No, you didn't.
There's a difference.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Who engages inappropriately or sexually with a minor, knowing they are a minor, versus someone who does that, believing that the person that they are engaging with is not a minor. Those are two different mindsets and two different types of people.
This is 100%
One is
correct.
actively seeking a minor for sexual activity, while the other is making an assumption that's probably that's wrong.
Okay, but you do understand the outcome is the same, correct?
The outcome may be the
if
same.
I meet a girl, hold on. Okay, if I
you can't you can't be this dumb. Okay, let's say I shot somebody to death. You'd call that murder, right? The outcome is that they died. Now let's say somebody came at me with a fucking knife and I shot them to death. Do you think that since the outcome is the same that it doesn't matter? Oh wait, you would apply these differently based on the situation. Intention matters. You can't just say outcome same, everything's fine. Okay, let's say you kill somebody, you put them to death, like you electrocute them to death. They were on death row. Would you say like that's literally murder, even if they killed 15 people maliciously and skinned them alive? Or you'd go, it's probably justifiable. You can't pretend that nuance doesn't exist just to drive home a worthless fucking shit point. This is insane. Holy fuck. This is disappointing. You should be embarrassed. This is horrible.
If I meet a girl out in public, okay, and I'm talking to her, whatever.
Okay,
it's cool, dude. She's like 14 or something, right? Who the fault is that? That's my fault.
What? Okay, so if you were in public and you start chatting up a girl and you didn't know she was 14 and you were still chatting her up, it's your fault, sure, but that Okay, this is so dumb. Okay, dude, this is I would have my brain is like literally rotting. Okay, your example is what if we're in public and you see a girl, you don't know their age, and let's say they look older their age. It looks like I don't know how old. Let's say she's 20, and this girl looks like she's like 20, right? And you're hitting her, you're chatting her up, and you don't know her age. Okay, do you think that's different from if you were like, oh, you know it's a 14-year-old? Yeah, of course it's different. What are you talking about? Okay, the trigger in your brain should be like, oh shit, like they're 14. Fuck, I gotta stop. Like the second you find out. Which could happen. Some young people look old. It's gross, but this is the reality. So there's some 14-year-olds that might look like they're 18. Okay, that's why you need to ask age first, for sure. But if you're just randomly chatting up a girl and you just like, it's what do you mean? I'm so confused. Oh my god, this whole situation's so dumb. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I did some. I just did some. I was just grooming this girl.
You're insufferably stupid, dude. This is so bad for you. You look so bad here. There's no way that your audience thinks that that you know what you're talking about. I hope. Oh my god.
Am I not?
Well, I mean, this is something that took place over Snapchat DMs.
You're not
exactly comparable because at that point you can directly see the person face to face, and you can be like, wow, this person is underage. Maybe I shouldn't have sex with them.
Okay.
And again, this is flirting on Snapchat. This is not having sex. Something that could permanently damage
it's called
that
sexting.
minor for life.
It's called sexting. It's
cool.
not flirting. But all right, continue.
Cool beans.
Well, that's semantics.
Flirting and sexting are very different. It's
sexting can be part of flirting. Given the I didn't think that was going to be activated again. Given the circumstances, it sounds like they were trying to ask for like inappropriate pictures. Like, yeah, you could consider that both sexting and flirting, I guess. Who really cares? Bro, come on. Oh, I did make it.
It's not
nice.
semantics to correct your using the improper word.
Well, you don't use words correctly either, but the words that you use incorrectly are fucking insanely worse. So who cares? This whole thing is dumb.
But okay, you know what? Let's just wrap it up on hopefully.
Please do. Holy fuck.
Because we have one more topic after this.
Oh my god.
I thought, but okay, let's just like put a pretty bow on this one because
cool. Let's do it.
Can we agree that this person is weird? That they're a weird person. That you probably shouldn't talk to them.
Sure.
I mean,
the talking to them is fine. Like Jadyn's a weird. You're a weird person. Who cares if they're weird? Weird doesn't mean that they're predatory or like a bad person. It just means that they're weird. Who cares? Okay, kids at lunch tables. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh cards are weird. Although maybe we should send them to jail.
Say that some of their mistakes or behavior are probably a bit weird. Yeah, I would agree with that. So they've definitely made mistakes in the past.
Right, but this is on top of course, videos saying we should stop stigmatizing pedophilia and stuff like that. I don't even want to get into it, but like this.
I mean, you kind of have to get into it because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to play like this really like disingenuous game. Okay. Listen, my understanding of those videos of destigmatized pedophilia is saying that like, oh, we should provide resources for pedophiles to come forward before they molest a child, then get mental health help so that they don't molest children. The reality is whether you can shit, come, fart, cry, whatever you want to do, but providing mental health resources for pedophiles pedophiles don't choose to be attracted to children, to help them get therapy before they act on their urges is an objective positive for society if you think that children shouldn't get raped. If you don't agree with that, then your perspective is going to cause more children to get raped. I don't know what else to tell you. You can be uncomfortable as you want. This perspective doesn't come from me loving pedophiles. It comes from me wanting to protect children. Okay, now once you harm a child, different ballgame. Okay, don't care what happens to you then. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get explicit. But if you're somebody who hasn't acted on it, okay, you don't control that urge, you should be able to go to a therapist so that they can help you before you do act on it. Because if you say that they shouldn't get mental health help, then they're just going to try to suppress that. It's not going to work, and they're going to end up harming a child. Okay? This is just like, this isn't a normalizing pedophile take. This is a helping children take, right? Like, we understand this, right? You have to be willfully unintelligent at this point to not understand the difference of this. Okay, if this person was like, I love pedophiles, we should let them frolic around with children. Yeah, that's really bad behavior. I'm going to assume that their take, from what I remember, because I think I've talked to them in like my Discord, not my Discord, they came into my chat when I was reviewing their shit. That was their take. Now, if you could prove otherwise, that's perfectly fine. But that's the take. It is an educated take. It's not even that educated. It's like such a fucking baseline level of like intelligence take. That's it. Okay, that's it. Hey, I don't want children to get molested. Wow, that's the take. That's literally, when you boil it down, that's the take. You have a problem with that take? Maybe you're the fucking problem. Okay.
This person is a weird person.
I mean, that's malicious. That's malicious framing.
Absolutely.
Right, so You love that word, malicious. Okay.
Yeah, well, apparently you like to be malicious.
You have this hate boner for Natty Forsyth. Like, you despise them for whatever reason, and so you are acting
okay, yes,
maliciously.
I hate them, yes. Like, I don't like them. I'm not going to be nice to them. I don't know.
That's fine. You don't have to lie about them.
So you are not coming from a place of good faith. You're not thinking intellectually here.
I absolutely am.
No, you're not.
Okay, let's...
So, okay.
So I'm just going to ask this question one more time. So can we agree that this person's weird?
Who cares if they're weird?
Person. Like, regardless of interpretation or acting maliciously, look at the cold, hard facts. This person is strange. They're a weird person. It's happened time and time again. And you can say, oh, perspective. Oh, there's that interpretation.
What's happened time and time again? They have one instance of them doing a bad thing and then having a take that with the outcome of helping children. I don't really understand. What's happened time and time again. Like, you just won't shut the fuck up about the same thing over and over again. Just give it up. Let it go. You're being a child.
Bro, when this has been being brought up for like 2 years plus, and there's been controversy after controversy, all involving some weird kind of like adult misbehavior. At a certain point, when do you say, well, yeah, maybe grooming isn't the proper word to use here, but this is so weird? And
dude, you're the one who keeps bringing it up, even though it's been done and gone. Like, you can't say, like, I've been bringing this up for 2 years. Why is this not? You're obsessed with this situation for whatever reason. You're obsessed with it. You really are. And that's the only way I could really... Oh, I just fucking died. Fuck. Okay, I died. That's the only way... Well, I'm really fucking dead, huh? You're obsessed with it. I mean, you keep bringing it up. Yes, it's a weird thing to do. Have they done it since in the 2 years? Then I'm listening. Happened one time. They acted inappropriately. Life moves on. People make mistakes. Ask age, guys. That's what it boils down to. Ask the age. There you go.
How does this keep happening? Like, at what point do you say, okay, yeah,
nothing keeps happening?
Well, I mean, first of all, I just kind of like learned about some of this like a year ago.
Are you friends with him still?
This had happened. Well, I need to explain, since you did ask earlier how we came to be friends, right? So Natty and I are both commentary YouTubers. We both engage in the commentary community, both make commentary content. And so I was friends with them as I'd met them through the commentary community and making commentary videos.
Okay.
And I found out about some of this stuff like a year ago, because I think Grimsy made videos on it. And Natty responded to it then and said that it wasn't true or defended their side of the story or made their case known. And so at that point, right, this allegation is made that Natty's a pedophile, and I've known them for like a year or so. And this is being brought to my attention. Natty says, "No, I'm not a pedophile. This isn't true." And I'm like, "Okay, I believe you at this point." Like,
so close.
Why would I drop them if I don't believe that they are in fact a pedophile?
Well, because at the end of the day, regardless of if you don't think they're a pedophile, I would drop people without even using that word if they just did some weird enough thing. You don't understand?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be. The only reason I'll drop you is if you're a pedophile.
I'm not like that. I don't have.
I mean, like, this just comes down to different values people have. Who cares? Like, what are you talking about? Why are you like this? Like, Natty's innocent. I don't know what to tell you. Like, stop being a fucking child about it. It's just fucking crazy.
I don't have like friends like I could just drop. Like, when I'm friends with someone, I'm friends with them until they do some like extremely fucked up shit.
That's bad. That's really bad. Hold on. Do you not understand how that's really bad?
Doesn't God preach forgiveness? Like, I don't understand. Right? Wouldn't by like your own logic, wouldn't you like forgive Natty because God preaches forgiveness? No, I don't know. What happened? What happened to God? What happened to be a godly person? Right? What happened to that? So I'm not even getting at this point. I mean, they didn't fucking molest a child or engage in any pedophilic behavior. So what happened to, like, literally, what happened to God? Like, I don't know. What happened? What happened to this level of forgiveness? It's weird. It's so bizarre that you say that you're so religious and yet you act so non-religious. It's very interesting.
I mean, it depends on perspective.
No,
I'm a very loyal person to
I'm a very loyal person too.
I believe in rehabilitation, first of all, and until someone crosses that like really fucked line, I can't be friends with them.
And this isn't even like, is this even a real friend? Like, don't you just know them through the internet?
Yeah.
A lot of people make friends.
Okay, so at that point, like, the block button exists, dude. Like, I don't know what to say.
Okay. Cool. Can we move on from this?
All right. So I guess you think that Natty's a little bit weird. Hopefully, you can see.
Yeah, they're autistic. I mean, lots of autistic people are pretty weird.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I've seen plenty of non-Natty Forsyth tier autistic people, but okay.
Autism is a spectrum. You can't really gauge. Oh, I know this one autistic person who's like who would never do this or never did anything like this.
I know an autistic person who just smears their shit all over the wall when they get upset. It's a sensory issue for them. I mean, like, yeah, that is the spectrum, and we would consider autistic people weird, considering they do some things that are non-congruent. I will say, right? Whatever. Again, Natty didn't really do anything wrong, so who fucking cares? This is the biggest pearl clutching I've ever seen in my life. Holy fuck.
So you can't really gauge that, but a lot of autistic people are weird, and I believe that can contribute to some of Nat's behavior or ignorance or mistakes, because maybe they just didn't have the understanding. I should ask this person's age. Oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't send this gore video. Oh, hey, maybe this isn't funny. Oh, hey, maybe this is bad, because they just don't have that understanding.
Okay.
All right, let's say like they could still have an understanding. It might be a little bit more difficult for them to understand things. Right? Don't completely excuse the behavior. Right? We understand that there's frankly, if this person wasn't autistic, I would be saying the same thing. I don't think the autism really is relevant here. They should have acted better. That's part of it. Like I feel like there's probably a lot of young people who made the mistake of not asking age, and it's not a good thing that they do better. Like it's not like this horrible predatory situation. But their autism is irrelevant here.
Okay. Last topic. Did you dox yourself, and why?
Okay. Did I dox myself? No, I did not dox myself.
I hate this game.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I was saying an address that wasn't necessarily my address because I thought it was funny. Well, I mean, honestly, it was my address at the time, but I was actually like moving like 2 weeks later. But I was just like, at that point, I was just like, okay, these people are like harassing me, they're attacking me, like what the fuck do you want? So I had like a mental breakdown, and for some reason I just thought it would be funny, or it's a good idea to just say my address. Like if you wanna attack me, you wanna harass me, you think this is funny, all right, come show up to my house, like give me this energy in real life type thing.
Looking back, you wouldn't have doxed yourself, correct?
No, I don't think I would have. I think probably wasn't the best move,
okay.
but
well, how much more could this be? They literally they talk for 5 minutes about this. Okay, incredible.
The most logical or sane headspace.
Got it. Okay. So, final point, and then we're wrapping it up. You've been told oftentimes by your critics to leave the internet or to take a break from social media as a whole, or sometimes just Twitter or YouTube. Why do you not do that?
I mean, I have taken multiple breaks, and recently I took like a week off. I took a week-long break. I didn't even upload to my YouTube channel. I logged off Twitter for the entire week. I didn't tweet anything.
That's smart.
And I have taken breaks, but
probably just leave Twitter permanently.
I don't take long breaks because this is my
job. Yeah.
Right, but is there any benefit to you like having Twitter at this point? Like I feel like that's just it's just problems after problems for you, no?
Yeah, no, you should delete Twitter. But we're at a point now where you're just like concern trolling. You don't really give a shit about any of this. Like you're like, okay, yeah, delete Twitter, Jadyn. It's not that deep. Just, like literally delete Twitter. It's not helpful to you.
I mean, it's just kind of my main form of socialization. That's where all my friends are.
Well, that's the problem. Like I feel like you could get out there and engage in your community and meet some new like real people, some flesh, and then maybe you'll realize that Twitter at the end of the day is fake. It's not real. You understand? Like you're not getting real interactions with people.
I mean, sure. you might be right about that, but yeah, I'm just not the most socially apt person.
It doesn't matter. I mean, neither am I. Like I probably am more than you, to be honest.
Very introverted. Yeah. I don't go to school, right? I don't have that. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't go to bars. It's just like my pool of meeting people is very limited. That on top of being an introvert, that on top of being trans, that on top of being a YouTuber, like my chances of like relating to your average like normal person are just very slim. And then like actually meeting people and being friends with them and having relationships that go on for years or months or whatever, it's just like it's a very slim possibility, and it's like it's hard to
okay. Yeah, I understand, but I would recommend that you kind of get out there and meet some new people if you can.
Wow, good advice.
But anyway, that is where we're going to end it today. I think that's everything. We covered every topic, unless there's something maybe you want to bring up or something like that. Now's the time if you'd like.
No, I think we pretty much discussed everything, and I think this was a decent conversation.
I think this was productive. I didn't try to trap you or anything like that.
You absolutely did. I don't know what you're talking about or I don't know if you'd say trap, but that Natty thing was just embarrassing for you. But okay.
That I'm asking these questions genuinely. I don't know. You said malicious. I'm here to be a genuine voice. I'm not trying to.
Well, I mean, I think when it comes to Natty Forsyth, you are being a bit malicious because, I mean, other third parties, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, Papa Guts coverage on this entire thing.
I don't really watch that. I don't honestly, I don't really watch that much YouTube.
Well, he's just been kind of like this isn't, like, as big of a deal. It's kind of, like, your take is kind of a bit terminally online.
It is.
That's
really?
That's just his kind of
perspective.
That's rich.
Doesn't he, like, stream all day?
Yeah, I stream all day. I stream for, like, 3 hours a day. How's that terminally online? I work less than normal people. I don't know what you want to tell you. Isn't he, not for nothing, but I got into the internet when I was like 30. I have actual life experience. You guys got like really famous on the internet when you're like fucking 20 years old. You hang out with a bunch of like little kids. Like, I'm not saying it from pedophilic perspective. I have actual real world experience where I talk to people that are in the real world. Like, I have older friends that are my age. I'm an adult. This is not that deep. It's not that serious.
I mean, I guess.
Isn't there a bit of irony there? Like,
yeah, isn't there a bit of irony? Doesn't he stream all day? I stream 3 hours a day, like maybe 5 or 6 days a week. But I stream, let's say 6 days a week. I stream 18 hours a day. I mean, 18 hours a week. I stream 18 hours a week. I maybe work 30 hours a week doing this, and then outside of that, I'm off. I don't have Twitter. I stay off my phone for the most part when I'm not working because I create that separation of boundary. So you just decided to like make a situation up where like, don't you stream all day? Even if I did, well, who would care? Because like if my hobby is video games, which a lot of people are, like why does this matter? Right? So it's like I would merge my hobby and my job, but I do this 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. I work maybe 4 or 5 hours a day in total between video editing, clip work, thumbnails, blah, 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 blah. Maybe 30. And it's probably more than I do. Okay? Sometimes I stream longer. You're just an anti-brain. Like, you just can't cope with somebody disagreeing. Doesn't he? I worked a real job for like 11 years. Like, I've gone into the world. What if you became a YouTuber very young? Like, you have a very terminally online perspective of the world. And I know that probably offends you, but this is what this is. All right? You guys are part of a generation of kids that think that everything's fucking rape and grooming because you're obsessed with this shit. You don't know how to interact with the world correctly. I'm an adult, and I'm sorry that I'm not confirming your bad behavior like other adults do on the internet.
The buck.
I mean, anyone who's using the phrase terminally online, I mean, let's be real, they're most likely terminally online. You think your local like Best Buy worker is calling people terminally online?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, yeah, I think it's
both of you are terminally online.
It's very clear I am a terminally online individual.
Okay, all right. So I think.
Hey, base Papa got shut up.
Jadyn, please don't fuck up again. Like, if you do, like, it's like, like this has been a good convo, you know, and I think that, you know, you could be better going forward. But like, you know, there are people that are gonna see this, and then a month later, like, you're gonna do something crazy again and be like, okay, well, this was all for nothing. Like, you have to actually think about this being a conversation where people who may hate you are gonna give you charitability, and you have to look forward from this conversation, keeping in mind that, you know, you have to be on your best behavior. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, this whole AI thing, this was last week. Like, you understand? Or was it this week? I don't even know.
Yeah, and the AI thing.
I don't know.
Sorry, my screen's going crazy. The AI thing is a non-issue. Like, you're pretending that it's an issue. Like, literally, what happened in the AI situation? Oh, somebody was impersonating me with AI, and then I reported them to YouTube, and YouTube took it upon themselves to remove the person. And somehow you think that that makes Jadyn wrong. Like, this is what I'm talking about when you're fucking terminally online. Like, it's weird. Okay, it's not really. It's not actually a controversy. That's you wanting it to be a controversy for content.
Okay.
You have content brain. Hopefully this ends.
I think that's everything. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Definitely a bit of a different one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. We're on the road to 400,000 subscribers where I will be doing my face reveal. Now, I don't know. Leave a comment saying PlayStation 2 if you made it to the end of the video. Follow my social media links are all down below. I'll see you guys all in the next video.
You should also subscribe to my channel, Jalen, on YouTube, especially if you unsubscribed within the last few months. I think that would be epic.
Do that at your own discretion, of course. You know, you don't know what you're getting into there. But, guys, I appreciate you staying here. Goodbye.
Cool. Great.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.